The Hey Eddie podcast is brought to you by. Have you ever poured out expensive perfume and then thought, oh no, I used it all? Well, worry no more. Introducing unbreakable alabaster jars, made from super strong stone that cannot be broken. Now you can keep your perfume safe forever. You'll never accidentally give too much. You'll never be too generous. You can hold on to your stuff forever and ever and. Wait, actually, that sounds kind of sad. You know what? Forget it. Break the jar. Pour it out. Give your best to the people you love. Unbreakable alabaster jars, a product that completely misses the point. Not recommended for anyone who actually listens to today's story. This is the Hey Eddie podcast. I'm your host, Cousin Michael. The Hey Eddie podcast is dedicated to helping kids like my cool cousin Eddie learn about the Bible and learn important lessons about God, about Jesus, and about life. The Bible is indeed God's gift to kids, a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. On today's episode of the Hey Eddie podcast, we're going to be studying Mark chapter 14, verses 1 through 11, in a lesson titled, The Beautiful Thing. This lesson will teach us that nothing you give to Jesus out of love is ever wasted. So give him your best and hold nothing back. Our key memory verse is Mark chapter 14, verse 6 and verse 9. She has done a beautiful thing to me. Wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her. Hey Eddie, have you ever given someone a gift that was really special to you? Maybe it was your favorite toy. Maybe it was something you made with your own hands. Maybe it was something you'd been saving for a long time. When you give a gift like that, it means something. It shows how much you care. Well, today's story is about a woman who gave Jesus the most expensive gift she had. She poured it all out for him, and some people thought it was a huge waste. But Jesus, he called it the most beautiful thing anyone had ever done for him. Ready? Let's go. It was almost time for Passover, one of the biggest Jewish festivals of the year. Thousands and thousands of people were flooding into Jerusalem to celebrate. Passover was a time to remember how God rescued his people from slavery in Egypt. It was supposed to be a happy time. But behind closed doors, something dark was happening. The chief priests and teachers of the law were having secret meetings. They were plotting how to arrest Jesus and kill him. But they had a problem. Jesus was too popular. If they grabbed him in public, there might be a riot. The crowds loved Jesus too much. So they said, we can't do this during the festival. We need to find a sneaky way to get him when no one's watching. They were scheming. They were planning. They just needed the right opportunity. Meanwhile, Jesus was having dinner in a little town called Bethany, just outside Jerusalem. He was at the home of a man named Simon the leper. We don't know much about Simon, but his name tells us he probably had a skin disease that made most people avoid him. But not Jesus. Jesus was right there, sharing a meal with him. As they were eating, something surprising happened. A woman walked in carrying a beautiful jar made of alabaster, a kind of smooth white stone. Inside the jar was very expensive perfume made from something called pure nard. How expensive? It was worth about a year's wages. Imagine working every single day for a whole year, and that's how much this perfume cost. And do you know what she did? She broke the jar and poured all of it on Jesus' head. Not a little bit, not half, all of it. The whole room filled with the smell of that beautiful perfume. Some of the people at dinner were not happy. They started grumbling to each other. Why would she do that? What a waste! That perfume could have been sold for more than 300 silver coins. We could have given all that money to the poor. And they didn't just mumble quietly. Mark says they rebuked her harshly. That means they scolded her, really let her have it. Can you imagine, Eddie? This woman had just done something incredibly generous, and people were yelling at her for it. They thought they knew better. They thought giving to the poor was more important than wasting perfume on Jesus, but they were missing something big. Jesus spoke up. "Leave her alone. Why are you bothering her? She has done a beautiful thing to me." Then he said something that might sound strange at first. "The poor you will always have with you, and you can help them anytime you want, but you will not always have me." Now, Jesus wasn't saying, "Don't worry about poor people." Not at all. The Bible is full of commands to help the poor. Jesus cared deeply about people in need. But he was saying, this moment is special. I'm about to die, and this woman understands that. Then Jesus explained what she had really done. She poured perfume on my body beforehand to prepare for my burial. Whoa! See, when someone died in those days, people would put special oils and perfumes on their body before burying them. It was a way to honor the person. This woman understood what the disciples kept missing. Jesus was going to die, and she wanted to show her love for him while she still could. She didn't hold back. She gave everything. Then Jesus said something amazing. "Truly I tell you, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." Think about that, Eddie. Jesus said that for as long as people tell the story of the gospel, the good news about Jesus, they will also tell the story of what this woman did. And here we are, almost 2,000 years later, talking about her. We don't even know her name. Mark never tells us, but her action is remembered forever. She gave everything she had to honor Jesus. She wasn't ashamed to show her love, even when others criticized her. And Jesus said, that's what the gospel looks like. Giving your best, holding nothing back, loving Jesus with everything you've got. But right after this beautiful moment, something terrible happened. One of Jesus' own disciples, Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, left the dinner and went straight to the chief priests. He offered to betray Jesus, to hand him over to the people who wanted to kill him. The chief priests were thrilled. This was exactly the opportunity they'd been looking for. Someone on the inside who could tell them where Jesus would be when the crowds weren't around. They promised Judas money, and from that moment on, Judas started looking for the right time to hand Jesus over. Do you see the contrast, Eddie? The woman gave her most precious possession to honor Jesus. Judas sold Jesus to get something for himself. One act of love, one act of betrayal. And they happened right next to each other. So what does this mean for you? First, give your best to Jesus. The woman didn't give Jesus her leftovers. She gave her most valuable treasure. When you love someone, you don't hold back. What's the best you can give to Jesus? Your time, your talents, your heart. Second, don't let critics stop you. People made fun of this woman. They said she was wasting her gift. But Jesus said she did a beautiful thing. Sometimes people won't understand why you love Jesus so much. That's okay. Keep loving him anyway. Third, love is never wasted. The people at dinner thought the perfume was wasted, but nothing given to Jesus out of love is ever wasted. He sees it, he treasures it, and he remembers it. Fourth, actions speak louder than words. The woman didn't give a speech. She didn't write a poem. She just did something beautiful. Sometimes the best way to show your love for Jesus is through what you do, not just what you say. Fifth, be careful who you follow. Judas was one of the 12. He was an insider, close to Jesus for 3 years. But he chose betrayal over love. Just being near Jesus isn't enough. You have to give him your heart. So the next time you have a chance to do something for Jesus, something generous, something sacrificial, something that might seem crazy to other people, remember this woman. Break the jar. Pour it all out. Give him your best. Because nothing you give to Jesus is ever wasted. This has been the Hey Eddie Podcast. I'm your host, Cousin Michael. Remember that the Hey Eddie Podcast is dedicated to studying the Bible and learning important lessons about God, about Jesus and about life. Today we discussed Mark chapter 14, verses 1 through 11. Tune in soon for another episode of the Hey Eddie podcast, where we'll study Mark chapter 14, verses 12 through 31. Love you, Eddie.